As weapon goes, we have 2 medium energy slots and a missile. But we are going to use this. Yeah, that's a weapon. Literally the only thing that we're going to use on Tempest, because my guy, this thing here has a lot of DPS. Not sustainers, but DPS. Literally this thing here serves as hit and run tactics. You burst out the damage upon the enemy and run away. If you disrupt the engines or something, yeah, this is good. If not, well, you can retreat, vent and do again, until you can get the job done. The reason why we don't use 2 weapons is simply because this is a frigate. Flux capacity dissipation is not that great. Like, no, it's good for frigates, but it's a frigate, my guy. You won't use this for burst weapons like a Hyperion. Hyperion is something else. As for a Tempest, just stick with a single one, because after all, you're not going to fight anything with this flux, my guy. You will be overloaded in no time. So, stick with a single one, that everything will go well. And also, your OP points here won't be able to handle 2 of these. You are going to have this for hull mods, the flux capacitors and vents. So after all, that's it. As for the hull mods, we are going to have expanded magazines only for the iron pulser. If you have anything else as phase lances, heavy blasters or something like that, hold up, do not use this hull mod. But since we are going to use iron pulser anyways, we are going to use it as a S modded, because the increase of ammo and charge regeneration for ballistic engine weapons, yeah, this is really strong for an iron pulser. This literally increases the sustained damage from it. Next, we are going with extended shields, but before so, let me tell you something. This is the shield coverage for a Tempest. Yeah, not that great, right? This is the armor and hull for a Tempest. For you have an idea, this is a civilian ship. Look at the armor, look at the hull. This is a destroyer, by the way. This is also a civilian ship. Look at the armor, look at the hull. Yeah, of course it's a civilian destroyer, but yeah, you don't want to have this armor and this hull to tank anything, like anything really. Machine guns, Vulcans will tear the armor apart and kill the rest of the hull you have on this fragile little thing. In order to prevent you being killed, let's have a shield, extended shields with shield conversion front and SC-mod extended shields in order to get the 360 shield arc to prevent anything to pass through it. The best way to guarantee your ship to be alive is to literally have a shield that does not let anything pass through. This is the only way. If you have anything else, a salamander will flame out the ship. A beam weapon will hit this thing and kill it as soon as possible. So no risks here, my guy. This is going to work and this is going to work. I don't care. The best thing to have is consistency. So after all, shield arc the best we can have with IS modded extended shields. Hardened subsystems, after all, frigates are not well known by staying in battles for longer, so we are trying to compensate that in some way. The peak performance time here is not that great. As a base, it only have 3 minutes of sustained combat readiness, then it's going to be reduced until reaching to 0. And you don't want to have 0 combat readiness, right? Yeah, like, not really. So the best thing you can do is prevent your ship from being destroyed like this. By the way, this is what happens when you let your Tempest with a single engine. Yeah, it's a Beyblade now, my guys. As for SC modding, you can have both hardened shields or hardened subsystems. But as priority here, hardened shields. Because after all, you can have a Tempest without hardened subsystems. For like faster battles where you can put these 5 OP to something else as unstable injector, flux capacitors, flux vents, you can have both of these, but you cannot have a Tempest that doesn't have a shield. So go with that. Hardened shields is the best one to SC mod here. After all, SC modding is permanent on the ship, So make sure that you have permanent decisions that works better. You can also have shield conversion front as SC modded, but after some battles, I decided that the 5 OP points that you have SC modded is worth than the 5% of shield damage taken here. Because yeah, on the older builds of mine, I did SC modded shield conversion front, because the bonuses, right? The better your shields, the better your ship. Yeah, it's worth in some cases, in others it's not. But after all, my guy, this is about choices. In the past, I chose this. You can also choose this, but nah, for me now, it's better to have hardened shields. Because the 2 OP points you get more here can be used on flux capacity, which is worth because this is a burst weapon. It will consume a lot of flux firing its magazine, so the more flux you have, the better your ship is. And then we have resistant flux conduits. This one here allows you for resisting more MP damage as going for ion beams and tackle lances that arcs through your shields if you have hard flux. So this is a nice counter for them. And also, you can vent your flux faster, which for the builds we are using, this is very important. Because, yeah, you are going max capacitors and vents here. Especially capacitors, because after all, this ship here will be firing a lot of projectiles. As you can see, yeah, the flux here is too high, but not as before, as I showed you with 2 ion pulsers. That's why you only use one of them and not 2. And then we have the Terminator drones, which are the best point defense in the game. Yeah, point defense, because this is what they do. They fight well against fighters with this thing, and against fighters and missiles in general with this thing here. As well, we have the Terminator core, which gives these weapons bonus against fighters and missiles by 100 and increases the PD lasers range by 300. For you have an idea, even without weapons, the Terminator drones is still useful as escorting other ships, which makes the Tempest strong even without weapons. Yeah, this is one of the few ships that you can use no weapons at all and they still are useful. Yeah, they are that strong. Then we have the termination sequence, which basically sacrifices your point defense in order to deal 1200 damage, which for me is a bad trade. Yeah, as I said, it's the best point defense in the game. These fighters are exceptional, but not for this. This is a sacrifice. You sacrifice the best aspect of the Tempest, or yeah, no, it's one of the best aspects of the Tempest, in order to basically deal this amount of damage. Nah, it's not for me. Like, for real. There are better ways to do damage, my guy. High energy focus was there for that, but well, it was removed, right? Let's talk about the skills before I start to yap about this termination sequence stuff all over 10 minutes, right? This is the build. It works for Tempests and Falcons alike. So this one here is for Falcons, extra mod, extra level for your officers. This one here increases the fighter replacement and ship top speed, increases a bit further with your officers. Guess what? Tempest happens to have a fighter bay. There goes. This one here. And by the way, this is the officer. More flux dissipation, more energy weapon damage and also less flux generated, more ECM rating, more damage against cruisers and capitals, more combat readiness and also more peak operating time, and max speed. As you can see, the top speed is already insane. I don't think that anything can reach this speed, right? Ah yeah, mods!
And now the true test. Hold fast or expire.
Apart of that, Terminator drones. As you can see, the base replacement time is 10 seconds. That's why this skill sucks. It basically takes 10 seconds to replace that fighters. But with this skill here, it gets reduced to less than 5 seconds with an officer. That means basically you can span the ship's distance without any issue. This is very good. Tempest benefits a lot from this skill. As incredible as this sounds, because the name is carrier group, right? Frigates are not carriers, which is quite funny. But guess what? This works, and works very well, which makes me very satisfied, you know. Next, this one is must to have already. Everyone should take this. This one basically increases the peak operating time for frigates. I don't care about the damage, man. The damage is good, but this 50% seconds peak operating time, my friends, my guy, my man, this makes frigates very useful in campaign. Very, very useful. This makes frigates actually handle longer battles. This is extremely important. And quite unfortunate to say that without this skill here, would be a lot harder to actually use frigates in game. You would have to like only use these if you really want to have quicker battles. Like before this existed, frigates were almost useless, like they were just early game assets to use. Then later on you could only have capital ships in order to keep in longer battles, right? Alex did change this and put the Wolfpack tactics to work. Then now we can use the frigates for the bonuses it grants and also for the time it can be deployed in battle. Very strong, very useful, and I'm happy that this already exists in game, and I hope that this doesn't get changed, or if it does get changed, buff the peak performance time for frigates. They really need that. Next, the reason why you should use frigates. This gives you 20% more speed if you use frigates, destroyers or anything, but the bonuses get faster if you have frigates with you. Which basically, yeah, we have a lot of frigates here. Basically, the speeds here, this is insane, right? Don't worry, it can get even higher. Even higher. Yeah, like, tell me, man, which ship has this shield here, a very nice shield, a lot of damage, and also point defenses as these Terminator drones here? Just point me a ship that does everything at the same time with this insane speed. And don't worry, this can get even higher. It doesn't have unstable injector. This one here. It doesn't have unstable injector. It doesn't have safety overrides. No, nothing of these are installed. Imagine if we had safety overrides on this ship. I really don't think that anything else would be so fast like this ship here. Yeah, of course we have mods, but we are talking about the standard game here. No mods, no additions, nothing. This is the base game as it was made to be. This one here as well increases the ACM per ship you deploy by 1% and also makes you capture the objectives very fast. Combine this with officers with ECM rating like this, gunnery implants, 5% of ECM per Tempest you deploy. Each one of these have 5%. And also combining with the Falcons I have in the other video, yeah, you can guess that the ECM is so high that even Remnants fears you. We have flux regulation, which increases the maximum flux capacitors and vents, and also gives bonus to dissipation capacity. As you can see, yeah, the capacitors here 15, vents 13. I can basically just double the amount of capacity without needing the whole mods here, like the flux coil adjunct, this one here, and dissipation as well. The flux distributor don't need that, which makes the ship very efficient in OP points. Honorable mention for the cybernetic augmentation, which allows you to have an extra elite skill for your officers. 3 elite skills here. It's good for the Tempests. If you don't like having a lot of the elite skills here because it's quite expensive to use in order to get story points and such, just remove this one, and you can remove this one here as well if you don't care about ECM, and put 2 points here. These 2 skills here helps in managing your fleet around the sector. So if you like more campaign stuff, go for here. If you like more combat stuff, go here. That's what I say for you. And then, the moment everyone is awaiting. Shall we start a combat, my guys? Let's start with the Hyperion, because it's the best frigate in the game, right? With the bonus here, as I said, why here and there. The fighter replacement there, you see that it's insanely fast now. A nice thing that the Tempest does here, it launches the Terminator on the enemy and vents its flux. So basically you can suppress your enemy to a point that it can't vent anymore. This can be very useful in battle, it can do as well. And yeah, you see, a Tempest took down a Hyperion. HDP by the way, and more peak performance time. Let's scale up the battle, shall we? Medusa. And then, again, as I said, we'll be using these advantages in battle, so that's why I'm putting the Tempest behind there. They are not participating in the battle, they are just providing the bonuses it's being used here. What the hell are you doing, Medusa? Yeah, the Tempest, the Medusa there just derp it there, but guess what? It shows that the Tempest can do a hit and run and do a lot of damage to the enemies around. Remind yourself, this is a Medusa. That's the build. The entire thing is right here. A single oil pulser, these hull mods here. But in case you don't have the hull mods, you can go for a early game build. This is very simple as a Tempest can go. Like, these hull mods here you can get on the start of the game, so no worries. The top speed is still very good because of the skills here. I might remove some of the skills to show ya, but to be honest, man, I will compensate that with a level 2 officer with 70% of the combat readiness. Like, you are on the start of the game, you don't have much to do here. The skills being applied there is Wolfpack Tactics, coordinated maneuvers as well, but I won't use it so much. The carrier group as well, because yeah, this is still being a Tempest, but this is back. And let's start here, shall we? As early game fights goes, maybe we can use like 1 Enforcer and 2 Cerberuses, because after all, this is what pirates use very much. As you can see, the shield there is not like the original Tempest anymore, unfortunately. Like, the early game hull mods not allows us to fix the issue with the Tempest. Risky move there, by the way. Carrier group and Wolfpack Tactics is doing the job there. Normally you won't encounter so much level 5, 6 officers. So this is, I'm compensating the fact that I'm using all the skills there, but as I said to you, I use a level 2 officer and also basically just a non-S mod and basic hull mods ship here. Now, Tempest can be found in any markets, basically, like Chibicena, Echo Breeze, anything like that you can find. Independence markets as well you can find these, so you can just get 3 or 4 of these ships in level 1 officers at least, so the skill here, the Wolfpack tactics could apply. And there goes, just use this skill here, this and this, so you get the exact same bonuses as you saw in the battle. Yeah, this one here as well, if you can. And now, it's starting with the crazy builds, right? This one here, basically, instead of the Ion Pulsar, we now use the Cryo Flamer. It's a Omega weapon, which basically turns this thing quite rare, but yeah. One of these is enough. This is an assassin ship now. Instead of immobilizing enemies, now we are going to kill them. 2000 damage per second on the burst. I don't think that there's much more things that can resist this, but yeah, basically anything else is quite doomed when seeing this, because with this speed here, with this damage, yeah, unless if you are a capital ship, I don't think that much more can resist such high damage, especially considering that we have 20% more damage. We also have target analysis here, and also this energy weapon master here. This is insane damage. This is quite powerful to say the least. Eagle. Oh, and by the way, the bonuses here, because yes, just in these 3. No, you're not going to use these again, it's just for the bonuses. Quite risky right there, but yeah. It's starting to take armor damage. Yeah, we are missing the high energy focus there. Armor breached, eternal damage. Yeah, a frigate killing a 20 DP cruiser. Yeah, welcome to the Tempest world. Next, we have this one here. Yeah, as you can see, we are starting to use the Shroud's equipment. This one is quite curious because the primary role there is general, but for some reason, this counts as point defense. I'm not kidding, this is counting as point defense. And I'm using an officer that has this point defense skill, which extends the range of point defense weapons by 200. Works for fighters as well, might point that out. Yeah, this thing here has 800 range. Not believing me? Yeah, the shot there is quite strange, but yeah, the range. This is the range of a frigate, by the way, without integrated targeting unit. This is the range. And by the way, I'm using the gunner implants, which increases the range even more, but the main thing is here. Ah, I want to say as well, this also affects this PD laser here. So the Terminator drones has 1000 range with a PD laser that also does more damage against missiles. So keep that in mind. This Tempest here is more of a support ship. It can destroy missiles, fighters from very afar. So that's literally its role. It's more about taking out enemies from afar than actual DPS or such. You know what? I'm quite bound today. Dominator. Then the bonuses here again. Let you here. You may ask why I'm not testing other frigates. Well, if this thing is facing cruisers already, I don't think that frigates can win against this. Is this a fight? I guess not. I really guess not. I don't know what to say about this. Well, let's do another fight. This one here was just a humiliation at this point. Yeah, since the ship is focused to kill fighters and missiles, why not, right? Generally, frigates won't die to this, but let's see how a very well built frigate can go. Well, yeah. Yeah. When you don't have Terminator drones, these start to actually pressure the Tempest. But this weapon here, as this counts as point defense, is doing quite a hell of a damage. Yeah, the fighters has no chance. The Cryo Flamer one would kill faster, but would be more vulnerable to the fighters as well. This build here is more about killing the fighters, killing missiles and such, and making sure that the fight advantage is going down. This is the most specialized part of this frigate here. This build here is a totally exaggeration. It's a meme about having the fastest ship as possible, you know, like this top speed here with Sempiternum rides. Everything can stack up except the unstable ejector, since the bonus here is not that great, like the 5 OP and also the range reducement and the fighter replacement time, which affects the Tempest, these Terminator drones, not worth it at all. So shall we start another one? If there could be any use for this build, I think that this is the one we could talk about. No? This is not exaggeration. Spaceship spin. You could hit that one, huh? I saw someone losing engines there. Yeah, this one here. This one as well. The thing is, AI can't flank the ship. They are trying to even reach the frigate. But Tempest is so fast, that even phased they can't get close. This is why they are basically just phasing and doing nothing. They are too slow to actually try and get along and do something against it. Someone died there because existing. Yeah, the phase ships are already wasted, pretty much. I think you can notice as well, the Terminators can't even follow already the Tempest. It's so fast that even the drones can't catch each up. Yeah, the Tempest is also starting to lose combat readiness as well. It urgently needs to kill these things or else it will die too. Yup, this was a phase shift spin and the Tempest here won. Yeah, my guy, this is the greatest potential that I can see in this build to work, basically. Like, a ship so fast that even phase ships can catch, and they get lured, lost combat readiness, and then die. This is the way I see this build working, otherwise, yeah, not much of a use, you know. And then, the final boss. The one that destroys every single ship in the game. By itself, alone. Without worrying with consequences. I present to you the Hungry Rift Tempest. Yeah, you can get everything I mentioned before, now with 2000 range. You didn't heard wrong. 2000 range with this speed here. This is the officer, by the way. Missiles, more damage, shields. This one here is, nah, you can take anything here. Combat readiness, speed. This is it. I'll show you what I mean when I say it can destroy every ship in the game. I think this one is a good example of what happens when you put a 2000 range ship as a frigate. It's not a capital ship of some sort. It even baits the ship to fire on it, instead of just flanking behind. I will mention this here and in the build screen as well. When you put skills, missile skills and ECCM package on the ship, you are also enhancing the ship system, because the drones, as they become missiles, they get faster and also more resistant to damage. A frigate versus a capital ship. Of course, right, a player could do this easier, but the AI doing this, man, is something else, you know. And well, that's it for today, my guys. I showed every builds that I think that they are the best. Like, you can use heavy blasters, you can use pulse lasers, you can use different things, you can use antimatter missiles, you can use like more omega weapons, but after all, I really think that these are the best. And if you have something to suggest, my guy, tell me in the comments. After all, everything has a different point of view that someone might take, and I don't. Well, have a nice day.